Dear family of dreamers, as you sit here listening to these words, I want you to take a deep breath, quiet your mind, let go of the noise of the world for just a moment. Open your heart to what I'm about to share with you. Now imagine this: you stand at a crossroads. In one direction, there is a well-trodden path, steady and predictable, a journey guided by time-tested wisdom and patience. In the other, there is a winding, uncertain road, full of exciting opportunities, but also riddled with sharp turns and risky ventures. Which road will you take? It's a question we all face in life, whether in investing, in business, or in our personal journeys. And today I want to talk about one of the most important crossroads you will ever encounter as an investor. Us as index funds versus individual stocks. There is no shortage of voices telling you which way to go. On one hand, you have the siren call of individual stocks, those shiny, high-flying names that promise the moon, the big wins, the fast riches. On the other hand, there is the quiet, steady, patient pull of index funds, the slow, consistent path that over time has proven itself as a reliable road to wealth. But which one truly makes you richer? Let's pause for a moment and consider what wealth really is. It's not just a number on a bank statement. It's not about the flashy car, the big house, or the exotic vacation. True wealth is about peace of mind. It's about freedom. It's about knowing that you are building something brick by brick, step by step, that will support not only you, but also those you love for years to come. Now, let's talk about individual stocks. The allure of the stock market, the thrill of the chase, the excitement of picking a winner, of riding that wave of success all the way to the top. Many of us have tasted this sweet fruit, that rush when the stock you picked turns into something more than you ever imagined. But let me ask you, how many of you have felt the sting of loss when a stock you were so sure of takes a sudden dive? How many of you have been burned by the volatility, the unpredictability, the ever-changing landscape of individual stocks? I know I've been there. I remember my early days in investing. There was a stock I'd put my money in, a tech company with a bright future. Or so I thought. The hype was all around it. Everyone was talking about it. The potential seemed limitless. And for a while, it looked like I was on the right track. But then, a sudden downturn in the market, an unexpected setback in the company's growth, and there it was, my money evaporating. It's painful. It shakes your confidence. And it makes you question the very principles you thought you understood. That's the thing about individual stocks. They are unpredictable. They can make you rich in a short period, but they can also take everything from you in the blink of an eye. There are people who get lucky, no doubt about it. But for the rest of us, it's a long road of risk, volatility, and the kind of stress that can make you question your life choices. And yet, many still chase that high, that dream of finding the next big winner. It's tempting, isn't it? We've all heard the stories, the tales of ordinary people who invested in Apple, Amazon, or Tesla when they were still young companies and turned their small investments into fortunes. And yes, those stories are real. But what we don't often hear are the stories of those who tried and failed and lost it all. Let me ask you this: what is it that you truly seek? Is it the thrill of the gamble, the rush of watching your portfolio swing wildly from highs to lows? Or is it something deeper? Is it a quiet sense of security, a steady march towards long-term wealth and peace of mind? This is where, as index funds come in, the quiet, steady, patient path. It doesn't promise overnight success. It doesn't come with the excitement of choosing individual winners. But it has something far more valuable: stability. Index funds are designed to mirror the broader market, to capture the growth of entire sectors, entire economies. And over time, history has shown that markets go up. Yes, there are dips. Yes, there are down periods. But over decades, the market tends to rise, and index funds rise with it. I'll tell you a story from my own experience, one that changed the way I looked at investing forever. There was a time when I was chasing after individual stocks, jumping from one to the next, hoping for that big win. But slowly, as I saw the ebbs and flows of the market, I began to realize something. The individual stocks I was choosing, the ones I thought would give me the edge, were no more reliable than a roll of the dice. That's when I decided to step back and think long term. I switched to index funds. No more trying to time the market. No more constantly looking over my shoulder, wondering if today was the day everything would come crashing down. I took the patient route, and over time I saw the difference. The growth wasn't meteoric, but it was steady. The returns were consistent, and my stress levels went down. Now, I'm not here to tell you that index funds are the only way to go. I'm not here to dismiss the potential of individual stocks entirely. But I want you to understand something. Plaza's success in investing is not about chasing the next big thing. It's about understanding the bigger picture. And that, my friends, is where we begin to see the power of his long-term vision. You see, the real wealth, the wealth that endures, is built over time. It's built with patience, discipline, and the ability to ignore the distractions of the moment. It's about seeing beyond the short-term noise and focusing on the long-term trends. Let's talk about consistency for a moment. In my life, I've learned that success doesn't come from one big bet, one big risk, one big win. It comes from small, consistent actions taken over time. It comes from doing the right things day after day, year after year, even when it feels like nothing is happening. That's the power of compound interest. That's the power of time. And in the world of investing, ours index funds offer you exactly that, a simple, consistent way to build wealth over time. You don't need to be a stock-picking genius. You don't need to worry about timing the market. You just need to make that commitment to invest, to let your money work for you, and to be patient. This is the path of true financial peace. Now, let's take a moment and think about the mindset required. The world tells you that you need to take risks to get ahead. It tells you that you need to hustle, to work harder, to pick the right stocks and beat the market. But let me tell you, it's not about beating the market. The market is not your enemy. The market is your friend, your partner, your ally. So if you're willing to embrace the steady, consistent approach of index funds, then you're ready to build wealth that will stand the test of time. And when you do that, when you take that patient route, you will find that your wealth grows not just in your bank account, but in your soul. Now, dear family of dreamers, let's dive deeper into the mechanics of ours individual stocks versus ours index funds. We've discussed the allure of individual stocks, that promise of quick riches, the rush of a successful pick, the idea of beating the market. But let's be honest, these individual stocks come with a cost. And I don't just mean the financial cost. No, the true cost is much more profound. The first thing you'll notice about chasing individual stocks is the emotional toll it takes. In the early days of investing, I was just like many others, chasing after what I thought were the next big winners. There was a time when I spent hours upon hours researching, reading financial reports, listening to every news update, trying to catch a glimpse of some inside information that would give me an edge. I was always on edge, watching the stock market ticker like a hawk, waiting for the next change. It felt like I was living on a tightrope, balancing between elation and despair. And here's what I've come to realize over the years. Those individual stocks are not just about money. They are a test of your emotional resilience. They can make you feel invincible one moment and utterly defeated the next. You put your trust in a company, in its leaders, in its future. But no matter how much research you do, no matter how good the story sounds, the market is still volatile. Things can go wrong, and they often do. I've seen this play out for so many people, friends and colleagues, who believed in the stories of individual stocks. They picked a company they believed in, poured their money into it, and waited for the miracle. Sometimes the miracle came, But more often it didn't. The company faced unforeseen challenges. Competitors arose, markets changed, and the stock price plummeted. There's an old saying in investing, it's not the stock you buy that makes you rich. It's the price you pay for it. You see, when you're investing in individual stocks, you are constantly at the mercy of the price. If you buy at the wrong time, when the stock is overvalued, when the market is in a bubble, you could lose everything, no matter how strong the company's fundamentals might seem. And the reality is, most people don't buy stocks with the discipline required to succeed. They buy out of excitement, out of fear of missing out, or because of hype. They get caught up in the momentum of the market, not fully understanding the risks. Let me tell you something about as a risk. Risk is not just about volatility. It's not just about how much a stock moves up or down on any given day. Risk is about just how much of your peace of mind you're willing to give up. How much emotional turmoil, how much anxiety, how much uncertainty are you willing to carry in exchange for potential financial reward? When you invest in individual stocks, you're not just risking money. You're risking your emotional health, your time, your peace, your ability to sleep at night. I've learned this the hard way, and I want you to learn from my mistakes. Now, some of you might be thinking, but what about the upside? What about the massive gains I could make with the right stock? And you're right. There is incredible potential for wealth with individual stocks. Some of the greatest fortunes in history were built from a single brilliant stock pick. But here's the cold truth. It's not a strategy for most people. In fact, the odds are stacked against you. Studies have shown that the majority of individual investors, on average, underperform the market. They chase the hot stocks, they time the market, and they end up with less than if they had simply stayed invested in the broader market. The market as a whole is more reliable than any single stock. That's where the beauty of index funds comes in. When you invest in an index fund, you are not putting all your eggs in one basket. You're investing in a diverse portfolio, a portfolio that tracks the entire market or a sector of the market. The beauty of this is that you're spreading your risk. You're allowing your money to grow with the overall economy without the stress of trying to pick winners or avoid losers. And let me tell you something powerful about index funds. They don't require constant attention. You can set it, forget it, and let it work for you over time. They allow you to take a long-term view, to trust the process, to let your investments compound quietly in the background. I know there are those who believe they can beat the market, that they can outsmart the system. But let me tell you, dear friends, true success comes from mass discipline. It comes from mass patience. It comes from mass consistency. The wealthiest people I know didn't get there by picking the next big stock. They got there by investing regularly over time and allowing the market to work its magic. Index funds provide the perfect vehicle for this. You don't need to worry about the next hot stock. You don't need to worry about timing the market. The magic of index funds lies in their simplicity, their low-cost, broad exposure to the market, which provides steady growth over time. It's a strategy that has proven itself time and time again. Whether you're investing in the S&P 500, the total stock market, or other diversified funds, the goal is the same: to capture the growth of the economy, to let it work for you, and to stay invested for the long haul. There's a quote I love from one of the great investors of our time who said, "The stock market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient." This is the essence of index fund investing. It's about patiency. It's about letting your investments grow steadily year after year. It's about trusting in the long-term trend of progress rather than getting caught up in the short-term noise. And that, my friends, is the true power of index funds. They don't require you to be a stock-picking genius. They don't require you to predict the future. They just require you to trust the process, to stay the course, and to let time work its magic. Now, dear family of dreamers, as we come to the final part of this journey, I want you to reflect deeply on the bigger picture of wealth. We've discussed the emotional roller coaster of individual stocks and the steady, enduring nature of index funds. We've explored the real cost of risk, not just in dollars, but in your peace of mind, in the stress and the uncertainty that constant market fluctuations can bring. And now, we must talk about legacy. What are you truly building when you invest? What is the deeper purpose behind your financial journey? Are you merely seeking to accumulate wealth for the sake of wealth itself? Or are you building something that will endure long after you are gone? This, my friends, is where the true power of investing, of patience, of consistency, and of choosing the right path reveals itself. The world around us is full of distractions. There is always something new, something shiny, something exciting. It's easy to get caught up in the chase, to think that your wealth will only grow if you're constantly on the move, constantly picking the right stocks, constantly trying to beat the market. But let me share with you one of the most profound truths I've learned in my life, as real wealth is built on consistency. You see, the wealthiest people I know didn't achieve their success through spectacular, risky bets. They achieved it through a sustained effort, through steady, disciplined investing, through choosing the path of patience. Even when others were distracted by the frenzy of the market, they understand that wealth is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And the beauty of these index funds is that they provide the perfect vehicle for this long-term approach. You see, when you invest in index funds, you are not just investing in companies or in stocks or even in financial markets. You are investing in yourself. You are making the choice to be patient, to trust the process, and to grow steadily over time. It's easy to get caught up in the temptation of instant gratification. We all want to see our wealth grow quickly, to feel the thrill of a big win. But true wealth, lasting wealth, is built on the foundation of slow and steady growth. It's about making the right decisions consistently, day in and day out over decades. It's about creating a portfolio that will continue to generate returns not just for you, but for future generations. And that brings us to something important as purposey. When you invest in index funds, you are not just investing in a collection of companies. You are investing in the future of the economy, in the future of innovation, in the progress of humanity. Index funds allow you to align your money with the growth of industries, companies, and technologies that will shape the world for years to come. You are not chasing the latest fad. You are betting on the long-term growth of humanity itself. And that, my friends, is where the power lies. When you understand that you are investing in something far greater than yourself, something that will continue to grow and evolve long after you've passed, you begin to see your wealth differently. It's not just about numbers on a screen. It's about the cause legacy you're leaving behind. That legacy isn't just about money. It's about the financial security you provide for your family, the opportunities you create for future generations, the freedom to live life on your terms. It's about building a life of its purposes, not just profit. I've seen too many people burn out, chasing after short-term riches, losing their way in the noise and the rush of the market. But the true path to lasting success is paved with patience, consistency, and a clear sense of purpose. And I promise you this, if you choose the steady, disciplined approach, if you choose to invest in index funds and let them grow quietly, steadily over time, you will create a legacy of wealth and wisdom. Your portfolio will build on itself, compounding year after year, creating an ever-growing foundation for your future and the future of those you love. But it requires commitment. It requires a sacrifice. You must be willing to tune out the noise. You must be willing to ignore the temptations of short-term gains and focus on the long-term picture. I want to share with you something very personal. something that has become a core belief of mine. Over the years, I've come to realize that true wealth is about freedom. The wealth you build through disciplined, consistent investing in index funds gives you the freedom to live life on your terms. It gives you the freedom to spend your time with loved ones, to pursue your passions, to have the peace of mind that comes with knowing you have made smart decisions that will pay off not just for you, but for generations to come. That's the true power of wealth. And that's why, as you continue on your financial journey, I encourage you to ask yourself, what kind of legacy do you want to leave? Are you building something that will stand the test of time? Are you making decisions that will create wealth and peace for you, your family, and those who come after you? Or are you chasing fleeting winds, letting the excitement of the moment dictate your decisions? The choice is yours, my friends. So, if you've made the decision to invest in index funds, to follow the path of patience and consistency, then you are already on the road to success. Trust the process. Let time do its work. And as you watch your investments grow, remember that you are not just building wealth. You are building a legacy of freedom, of purpose, and of wealth that will carry on long after you. As we bring this journey to a close, I want to leave you with a thought, one that I hope will resonate deeply in your heart as it has in mine. You see, investing is not just about numbers. It's not just about charts or stocks or index funds. It's about you. It's about your life, your dreams, and your legacy. The wealth you build through your investments is not simply a reflection of how much money you accumulate. It's a reflection of the choices you make, the mindset you adopt, and the purpose you embrace. I've spoken about the emotional toll of individual stocks, the high risk and volatility, the thrill of big wins, and the agony of big losses. And I've spoken about the power of index funds, the steady, reliable path that requires patience, consistency, and the wisdom to know that time is your greatest ally. But more than that, what I want you to understand is this: true wealth comes not from what you gain, but from what you build, heirs. When you choose to invest in index funds, when you embrace that patient, disciplined approach, you are not just stacking dollars. You are building something far more meaningful. You are building a future where the weight of your decisions today will give you peace of mind tomorrow. You are creating a legacy that will provide for you, for your family, for your children and grandchildren. And that, my friends, is the most beautiful thing about wealth. It's not just about what you take. It's about what you leave behind. The choice between individual stocks and index funds is not a choice between two financial strategies. It's a choice between two mindsets of one mindset is driven by the excitement of the moment, the thrill of the chase, the desire for instant gratification. The other mindset is driven by purpose, the understanding that wealth is a long journey built on consistent effort, clear vision, and deep belief in the power of time. When you choose index funds, you choose peace. You choose a freedom from the constant worry about market ups and downs. You choose the knowledge that your money is working for you, growing steadily, compounding quietly, day after day, year after year. And you choose the joy of knowing that you're building something sustainable, something that will last. But more importantly, you choose the kind of wealth that will allow you to live life on your terms. You choose the ability to wake up each day with peace in your heart, knowing that you've made smart decisions for your future and the future of your loved ones. You choose the kind of wealth that will allow you to pursue your passions, to have the time and freedom to do what truly matters. As you walk down this path, remember that success in investing and in life is not measured by the number of victories you have, but by the quality of your choices. The true measure of wealth is not how much you have, but how much you've built. And the greatest wealth you can create is not just financial wealth. It's the wealth of his freedom, peace, and purpose. I encourage you to ask yourself every day, what kind of legacy do you want to leave? What will your wealth say about you when you're gone? The answer to that question will guide you toward a life of meaning, of prosperity, and of true fulfillment. And if you choose the steady, disciplined approach of index funds, if you choose the long-term path, you will not just achieve financial success. You will build a legacy that will endure for generations. So, my dear friends, I leave you with this: our trust in time, trust in consistency, trust in your ability to make wise decisions day by day for the long road ahead. If the future is waiting for you, and it's a future built not on the frenzy of the moment, but on the steady, quiet power of patience and purpose. Thank you for being a part of this journey. May your path be filled with peace, prosperity, and the kind of wealth that brings true freedom.